Morning. My name is Debbie Jacobs, and I wanted to do a video today. I'm feeling very optimistic and inspired, even though I just got in a fight with my brother. We're 47 years old, we're twins, and we have perpetuating this negative, this dysfunctional dynamic our whole life. But basically, and let me tell you something that is not healthy for anybody, and I do attribute, the unhealthy dysfunctional dynamic of my in my family to my mental illness and also to my healing, freedom, and happiness. And basically, I lived most of my life with depression, anxiety, and bipolar. And then I went through a very challenging time. And my family was like so controlling and yelling at me. And I had three siblings that were like constantly like, just pulling at me and everything like that, and wanting things their way, and it was really actually very very difficult to get through. And I finally just separated myself from everything and focused on my own healing and happiness, because that's what I wanted in my life, my own happiness, my one life. I didn't want to live my life in unhappiness, and that was the path that I was on. And let me tell you something, this was separate from bipolar depression and anxiety, because even though I had a medical illness, I still recognized that I was getting in my own way. You know what I mean? Like my anger, my insecurity, my anxiety, my shyness, my sensitivity, my being argumentative and aggressive, my ways of being. Self sabotage. For shooting myself in the foot. What I recognize is that I didn't accomplish things that I wanted in my life. So I needed to work on myself, in an attempt to get my life on track to where I wanted it to go, which was love and happiness. So I worked on myself. Man, I wish I did this, like 15 years earlier. Like there was nothing stopping me from making positive change. It wasn't in my consciousness, and I didn't know how or that I even should. And basically when I finally had gotten fed up with my own self, really, I mean, I was like, I cannot take this anger anymore. Like I really, and that I almost think was kind of like a part of my awakening, my a shift in my consciousness. Like I was creating upset and unhappiness for myself. What? I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So I actually, I started dismantling my own flaws. Isn't that amazing? Like I was like, I gotta get rid of this anger, these anger problems. I gotta get rid of it, man. I can't even operate, and it was something that I didn't have any control over. I was totally reactionary, and every little stupid thing would set me off, would make me, lose control and go crazy and all this stuff. I'm like, God damn, I got to get better hold of myself so I'm not upset when somebody says the wrong thing to me. Let them say the wrong thing, but I don't want to get upset about it. And basically, I did that. I got rid of it. My anger problems were the first thing, because they were very, what's the word, like dominating in my life. It was overwhelming. I had anger problems that were like setting me off. You know what I mean? And then my shyness, that really was creating pain. I was painfully shy. I didn't know what to say, and I worked on my communication skills. And the more that I worked on my communication skills, the more I was out of my pain, because I was learning effective new ways of being that were not creating or perpetuating the pain in my life, because the pain comes from our negative thinking. And every time I felt bad about myself, I was creating pain. Every time I undermined my thoughts, undermined my own success and confidence, I was creating pain. Every time I was in my anxiety, I was in my pain. Every time I felt I was perpetuating trust issues or abandonment issues, that was my pain. And trust issues and abandonment issues, They show up in our head, but they show up in our behaviors and how we interact with people, and that creates pain. And it also creates inferiority, where we feel like we don't have our power. That's all of our pain. And let me tell you something. When we replace our pain with our power, and we take our power back, we feel better, we feel more confident, we feel empowered, we feel capable, we trust ourselves, like so there is a benefit to look to learning new ways of being, because we develop all of our healthy self-esteem, feeling good about ourselves, and we can go out in the world and show our face, and live our life, and be us, because the mental illness is not us. Our authentic self is us. And that is accomplishing positive thoughts, positive, effective coping skills, and healthy self esteem. And when we are in our authentic self, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's like the most amazing, amazing experience. It really is. And I wish I had a line out the door, because all I want to do is help people accomplish this, especially people living in mental illness, and to keep children off the path of mental illness. I believe that it can be avoided completely. My mental illness could have been avoided completely if my parents had positive thoughts, positive effective coping skills, and healthy self-esteem. And they didn't, because they had their unhealed pain, and their pain became our pain. We have to get out of our pain and live in our happiness. Yes. Yes, I am telling you, this is what waking up is, and living our life. We have one life to live. We have one life, and it would be like a total shame, a tragedy, really, if we were to live our one life in dysfunction, in mental illness, in hurt, in pain, and perpetuating an existence that creates unhappiness for us, feeling bad about ourselves. Why? Because we don't have effective coping skills and thinking. That's it. That is it. That is it. And let me tell you something. Everything in my life is in shambles, and I'm still here, like I'm okay, because I have the coping skills and the thinking to deal with what things that are out of my control. I would love to be instantly accepted, and people say, okay, Deb, you say you have the cure for mental illness. What is it? Tell us, and how can we help people living in their pain live in their happiness? But nobody's listening to me. What can I do about that? I can continue to be a voice and to seek other opportunities. But I wish that I had like the instant, acknowledgement, not for me, but for other people living in their pain. Get them on the path. Because let me tell you something, this path actually took me 5 years and $300,000. So it is by no means, an easy process. But it's kind of like doing a marathon or a triathlon. It's not easy, but everybody can, you could do it if you have the commitment and determination. And what I'm trying to tell people is that this is worth it. This is worth being committed and having the determination to accomplish your transformation of self, your healing out of your pain and into your authenticity. Yes, your authentic self. And like some people, like I don't even, some people have to make a conscious effort to be vulnerable, to be out of their comfort zone, whatever. But for me, this is my behaviors and how I operate. So I don't even recognize, like sometimes I say to myself, am I being too vulnerable? Because I'm not trying to be vulnerable. I just am. But then for people still in their pain, they may not be receptive, or it may be, and that actually just goes to show that it still is a challenge to operate with people that are in the ego self, the negative thoughts, negative ineffective coping skills, and low self-esteem. But let me tell you something, it is much better for me, in my authenticity than in my depression, anxiety, and bipolar. I honestly would have been dead. I would have committed suicide right now, I'm at a point in my life that I am able to rise above everything because I have my positive thinking, positive effective coping skills, and healthy self esteem. But if I didn't, I would have sunk like a fish right into suicide if I had negative thoughts, negative, ineffective coping skills, and healthy self esteem. And low self esteem. And here I am just trying to get people to wake up to their freedom and their happiness. It is the spiritual awakening, the death of the ego self, and the rebirth and awakening of our beautiful, authentic self, the person we were meant to be. Live this way, in your life. Trust me, you will love it. You will feel so much better. Obviously, that's the healthy self esteem. But it gives you effective ways of being so you don't have to get upset. That's it. It's so that you are creating positive outcomes. And let me tell you something, the confidence that this brings is like, it's not even confidence, it's greatness. You know? So I just really hope that people can start to recognize they have other options. And it goes along with thinking outside of the box. It's thinking outside of our consciousness. What and that means that that means that the answer is never going to appear in your world because it's outside of your world. It's outside of your consciousness. It's outside of your thinking. But you know what? There is an opportunity for you to have your happiness, even if you feel like, even if you believe that there wasn't. Even if they say, well, you have a permanent incurable, disease, that's not your only option. That's a limiting belief. And when you operate with limiting beliefs, you don't even try. But when you operate with, unlimiting beliefs, anything is possible, you'll go for the stars. You'll say, really? Is it possible to get out of my mental illness? Let me try. And I'm saying that because I accomplished it. But when I was working on my own healing, that was not my goal. My goal was to get out of my own way for love and happiness, because I had been unsuccessful in love. I wasn't successful in my life. I had some success, and I wasn't creating happiness. And you know what? Mental illness wasn't even a factor. I'm like, I'm going to work on myself. I can read, I can learn, and I can challenge myself. I had a master's degree. I already had challenged myself. And I worked with the right people that really, really helped me to get me out of my unconscious. Because mental illness is unconsciousness, and it comes from our pain, the emotional wound, not the mind. So now I'm trying to share this information with everyone and anyone because it is an opportunity for us all in this life. And also to address the need to take on suicide. We have to stop sitting by and watching people commit suicide because their needs aren't being met. We have to learn how to meet their needs. They have to learn how to meet their needs. They have to learn how to create happiness. They have to learn how to coexist in healthy relationships. They need to accomplish, healthy relationships that stems from the family dynamic. But all these problems can be solved, and it takes positive thinking, because that's what positive thinking is. Positive thinking is, solving problems, solving our own problems. I had all these problems, and when I, went through my healing process, at the end, I didn't. I solved all my problems to a positive outcome. Whether that outcome, was to create happiness, or, just to say, hey, you know what, that's not a problem worth having. I don't want to have a problem if I'm not getting anything from it but a problem. So it takes a whole new way of thinking. But this thinking leads to our freedom and happiness. And I really wish that people could just, get out of their pain. It's like we're wearing a suit. We're wearing like a costume or like some bubble, suit or something. You know what I mean? I'll do another one. It is like we are a mummy, and we have all this wrapping that mummified us. And if we can get out of this cocoon of wrapping, that's our pain. We got to unravel all of our pain, get rid of all of our pain until we start to see our authentic self. And under the comatose mummy, um, is our beautiful, authentic self. We are unwrapping ourselves, and that is our freedom and happiness, and our authenticity. So I really hope to I'm writing a book. I hope to have immediate success because I feel the world needs us. The world does need this. Yeah. Mental therapy needs this. Parents need this. We all need this. We all need to live our life in happiness and not our pain. All right. My name is Debbie Jacobs. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.